What's up, guys? I'm LQ. This is the LQ Review, and I'm here to talk about Survivor Island of the Idols episode. What is it? Episode 6, I believe. And this is the one where Jack gets voted out. Yes, Jack, we hardly knew you. All of that newfound wokeness that you have couldn't save you from superior Survivor players. and, and, uh, and that's too bad because I thought he was an interesting character. I thought he was an interesting person to watch, but alas, superior players took him out, and you know it was too bad. But it is what it is. So Janet. Let's talk about Janet and her trip to Island of the Idols. I knew right away that she was not going to take that risk. She was very much. She's very much super analytical, and somebody like her is not going to take a risk that could put her in a worse position, even if it has a potential of putting her in a better position. I just couldn't see her taking that risk, and I think that it was interesting that Boston Rob played it up as she made a good call. Yeah, and I don't know. It made me kind of, yeah, she didn't take the risk. But she was also kind of boring. I guess she makes up for it in other ways. She's not completely boring. She does have a hard edge to her that I've enjoyed. But for the most part, I didn't really care for this Island of the Idols segment in this last week's episode. Let's talk about the Tribal Council. Kelly and Dean, their personal connection outside the game that they learned about here, that paid huge dividends for Dean. Huge, because now Kelly gives him the idol so he can protect himself. And while they're at Tribal Council, it blew me away that they had this another woke conversation. We're gonna have to call this woke or survive woke or something like that. But at Tribal Council, they had the conversation about I find that very offensive that you think that women would get together. Bull crap. That's not offensive. When Parvati and Siri and Amanda did it, that was empowering. How is it offensive to say that girl? I try really hard to see things from other people's point of view. Really hard to see things from other people's point of view. I don't get this. I don't get it, Kelly. I don't know where your head's at, because it's no more insensitive to say that girls would get together than saying that these boys and these girls over here would get together, or these guys would get together. And she said, we never hear about dude alliances. Bull crap. Have you watched Survivor? We see alpha males teaming up to protect themselves all the time. Dumb. That whole Tribal Council conversation was dumb. It felt like wokeness for the sake of wokeness. It's what it felt like to me. Okay. Let's move on. This had some interesting benefits for the tribe, because nobody knew that Jamal had a hidden immunity idol. Nobody knew about that. And he got uncomfortable enough through this conversation, through the talk of a women's alliance. When Dean played his idol, everything made Jamal so uncomfortable that he had to play his idol. Talk about an unexpected benefit from playing an idol. Flushing another one out. And I don't think Jamal is long for this game now. I really don't. I just think that his personality is going to rub somebody wrong eventually. Because it would rub me wrong. It would rub me wrong, and I feel like I'm a stand-in for an everyman. I look like an everyman. I think like an everyman, and it would rub me wrong eventually. A little judgmental, and it wouldn't work. He wouldn't work for me. So I feel like he's not going to be long for this game. Who I do feel like is going to be long for this game is Kelly. I feel like Kelly is really smart. is a heck of a gamer, and I feel like she's going to really take advantage of every situation she sees. I think that the Tribal Council conversation about wokeness was her taking advantage of that situation. I really do. I don't know that she necessarily believes that suggesting that women would get together and form an alliance is offensive. Because that's asinine. It is asinine to say that a group of women would get together and form an alliance. And that is offensive. That's asinine. And on the surface of it, that's asinine. But poor Jack got voted out as a result of the hidden immunity idol being played, and I applaud your willingness to try to learn how to become a better person, and I applaud your willingness to be friends with people, and I think all that's great. But you weren't made for Survivor. You were not made for Survivor, and that was obvious in the way that you played the game. So I liked him. I thought he was a good guy, a neat guy, but I'm not going to miss him as a player. Overall, this episode illustrates why Survivor has been on for 39 seasons and is going to be on for 40 seasons at least. Because here we are, 39 seasons in, over 30, or halfway through the 39th season, and Survivor still surprises us. This was a great tribal council. Edge of my seat, wasn't sure what was going to happen, and just jaw dropped when Jamal played his hit, and then jaw dropped again when Jamal didn't get any votes. I mean, this is why Survivor stays relevant. And yes, Survivor does stay relevant because of the social political commentary that it gives as well. Absolutely. Even if I don't always agree with it, or even if I think it gets a little heavy-handed at times, that's why Survivor stays relevant, because Survivor's willing to change as we change. Survivor's willing to change as the culture changes, and that's why I love it. That's why I think it's great. And that's why I think that it's been on so long, and that's why I don't think it's going to get canceled anytime soon. Because amazing things still happen. People still innovate in the way that they play. Yeah, the producers innovate in the way they set the game up and the twists and all that, but people still innovate in the way that they play. And people are still willing to make bold moves. And Survivor is it puts our society under a microscope, and it exposes the issues we're having in our society, good and bad. And like I said, while I don't always agree, and while sometimes I do agree, but I think it's a little heavy-handed, I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful because it sparks conversation. And conversation, not yelling, not demeaning, not being a keyboard warrior on social media. No, conversation is what changes the world, is what changes things. And I think that Survivor plays its role in that, and I love it. So overall, this episode was fantastic for the last half of it was fantastic. The first half was a little bit forgettable, but the last half, loved it. So, good season so far. Love having Boston Rob and Sander back. But the important thing is here, guys, what do you think about this season of Survivor so far? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And as always, thank you for being here at the Oki Review, where we talk about all of the geeky, nerdy stuff we love to talk about. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Every single day